even the idea to have been in an Avengers film, let alone as Spider-Man, and then for that film to become the biggest film of all time, it's still one of those things where if I woke up from the dream and none of it happened, I'd go, yeah, well, that kind of makes sense.
Hey, I'm really happy you're here.
Why is that?
Because I like you a lot.
Shut up.
I really do. And and your jacket's really cool. Whoa. And what?
I was just thinking.
What are you thinking?
Just thinking that you're shady.
You wanna go for a walk?
So you first came upon the Russos in the Civil War, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Captain America: Civil War, and in that relationship between actor and directors that has led to Cherry, which is just an extraordinary movie, but a really great opportunity as an actor. It allows you to do so many different things that we haven't seen you do on screen before. How did that start? Where they wanted to take this much further here?
I'm not too sure. I know that we had a great relationship while working on the Avengers films, and we became quite close. I relied on them really heavily while making those films because, as you can imagine, I was probably 19 years old when I first started working with them, and I was really out of my depth. And I was so lucky that I had two guys that were as kind as Joe and Anthony are to kind of take me under their wing and to carry me through the process of what it meant to be an MCU actor. One thing that touched me so much was when they offered me Cherry, they didn't really tell me much about the script or the story. They just kind of told me that Joe and I are directing this independent feature. We would love for you to play the lead. What do you think? Just about that. And obviously at the time and now as well, I would do anything with the Russos. I wouldn't have to read a script or see any material. I trust them so much that I would be there. I was just so touched that they could work with anyone they want. They could do any film that they want. There's nothing they couldn't get financed. There's no actor that would say no to them. But they chose me, and I couldn't quite believe it. I was like, what? Like, Robert Downey Jr.'s in the other room. Like, go and get him to do the film. So I just was really honoured that they wanted me to do it, and that's why I kind of worked so hard and pushed myself, because I felt so grateful for the opportunity. And like I said before, I owe so much to those two, and I will repay them one day. I will.
This movie deals a lot with PTSD and opioid and this addiction and all of this. Did you work with experts and things? Did they help you through all that? Because it is so real. There's one scene where you're sitting on the sidewalk and putting these needles in your arms and things, and where your eyes just go, and it's just so authentic. I couldn't believe this was just movie magic, if you want to use that term. It looked real.
Yeah. Well, I can confidently say that I've never done heroin. So that was movie magic. But yeah, it just boiled down to doing a lot of research. I think when you're portraying a real life character, or if you're, the opioid crisis is a real problem in America and in my country and around the world. And I wanted to make sure that I did justice to all the people who were suffering from addiction. So, I sat down with, I don't know, maybe 30 different veterans who were all suffering from PTSD and substance abuse, and interviewed them. Some were more willing to share than others. And I just learned from them, and I learned from their experiences, and I took their stories and used them to fuel my enthusiasm to make this film as authentic as possible, to do justice to their stories.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And then the Russos put you through a boot camp here. At one point in this movie, 40 minutes of it is a pretty interesting war movie.
Yeah.
And you're out there doing that, and a whole other kind of experience, I imagine.
Yeah, one thing I learned is that I would be the worst soldier ever. I did quite a lot of training in like the medical field to obviously portray a medic. And I've made movies my entire life, and or my entire life, half of my life, and I know that it's not real. I know it's not real because I've done it forever. But when those bullets started flying and the explosions started going off, and I had to perform these medical procedures, I couldn't do it. I would freeze, and I would be like, well, you got to stop to cut. I'm sorry, I messed that up. I'm sorry. So I have so much respect for the men and women who do that day in and day out, and who are able to act and work under such pressure. But yeah, that portion of the film was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Some of the things that we were doing, I don't know if you remember, but that opening shot when we see Cherry first in contact is one of the coolest pieces of cinema I've been a part of. The way that the drone flew through the explosion and then was caught by the camera operator and then took off again, flew through the cars, was caught again into a close-up. That's the type of thing that, like, as a young person who loves cinema, you dream of being a part of a scene like that. And it was all unfolding in front of my eyes, and it was amazing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. What about the process of acting in this, the prosthetics, the aging, where you have to go through different eras? I mean, there is a lot of demand on you to go beyond your years here as well.
Yeah, I mean, a large portion of that credit has to go to my makeup artist, Rachel Speak. I mean, we spent months before we even got out to Cleveland prepping on how we wanted Cherry to look at the different points in his life. And logistically, that was a nightmare. Like, trying to jump between different ages, so different wigs and different prosthetics and different makeups, was really difficult. But Rachel did an amazing job. And I think, as you'll see when you see the film, the transition between each version of Cherry is seamless, but over a span of years. And I'm really proud of how we tackled that aspect of the film. The aging makeup was particularly amazing. I mean, it was so weird looking at myself. I'm not looking forward to aging, honestly. I saw what I'm potentially going to look like in 30 years' time, and I didn't like what I saw. But no, it was amazing.
What was it like shooting a new Spider-Man in the pandemic? I mean, that's a whole different world too.
It's different. It's different, and I'm just really happy to say that our crew has been nothing but professional and responsible, and we've done all of these. We've followed all of these precautions, and we've made sure that everyone is safe and healthy. But we've also had a great time doing it. Like, we're all enjoying being back at work. We're all enjoying making the film. The film is going really well, and I think easily the best Spider-Man film that we've made. But yeah, I mean, it has its inconveniences, but there are people in the world who are having a much harder time than us. So we're all happy to kind of take it on the chin and get on with it. But no, we're all very lucky to be back at work.
I wanted to talk to you about another aspect of your film career, because I've noticed you've been doing a lot of it. In the last 12 months, we've seen you, but not seen you. We've heard your voice, from Spies in Disguise to Ian Lightfoot in Onward, the Pixar picture, to playing Jip the dog in Doolittle. You're really becoming a hell of in the voiceover world here and doing that character. Is that fun for you?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Spies in Disguise for me was so fun, and I absolutely love that movie. I had such a good time working on it, and I was really proud of the final outcome. And doing voiceover was strange. I'd never done it before, really, and I kind of didn't know what to expect, and I ended up really enjoying it. And then obviously I got the phone call that every actor would love, which is from Pixar, and I ended up making Onward with my good mate Chris Pratt, which was cool. And yeah, I loved it. And if I would do it again and again and again and again, because you can make a movie from Monday to Friday, and then you can do a voiceover Saturday to Sunday, and just keep going.
Did you always want to be an actor? I mean, you obviously started as a young kid, as you mentioned, in theater and as a dancer, and Billy Elliot, another big iconic show to be a part of. Was that something you always wanted to do?
No, not really. No, I kind of fell into that. You know, I went to a Saturday school, like a street dance class, just for fun. It wasn't for anything other than I just enjoyed dancing, and my mum would take me. Uh, I got spotted. I auditioned for Billy Elliot. I was lucky enough to get the part, and then when I got the impossible, like I was saying, it wasn't until that moment that I realised that this might be something I could do for the rest of my life. Um, so no, I was never looking to become an actor. I just happened. It just happened to me, and I kind of rolled with the punches and took the opportunities as they came in, and uh, and just kind of went from there. Really.
Yeah, where do you want to go next? I mean, obviously you're still shooting Spider-Man 3, but you know, now with the experience of being in a movie like Cherry, I think it's going to open up all kinds of avenues for you as well.
Thank you. I don't know. I don't know. I think our business is so difficult to predict and navigate. I don't think it's wise to try and put yourself on a track that you can't get off of. So I'm just going to kind of roll with the punches as I always have, and continue to enjoy myself and continue to work with people that I respect and admire, and just kind of go from there. There's no real end goal, really. I just love doing what I do, and I'm so lucky to be doing it at the level I'm doing it. So I'm just going to try and continue for as long as I can keep faking it until the world figures out that I'm actually a dickhead, and then they get rid of me.
Well, you're faking it pretty well, Tom.